Hello.
Why is this man looking at me like that? Adora chuckled to herself. Then she did something no one ever did. She walked back to him. Hello, dear, she said, kneeling beside him gently. Do you want to eat? The lunatic beggar nodded like a boy caught stealing sugar.
Yes.
She smiled and offered him her hand. They walked together into the restaurant. Heads turned. Staff looked horrified. The woman gently asked him to sit while she went to order 2 plates of rice and the water for them. But by the time she returned, he was gone. She took a beggar to a restaurant to buy him food, then made a surprising discovery. Welcome to Ideka African Folktales, best channel for storytelling with moral lessons. Please remember to like and comment. Chef Orebo restaurant was known all over Lagos. If you live in the city and hadn't heard of Chef Orebo food mall, you probably lived under a rock. Or worse, you didn't have data. The restaurant chain was elite, stylish, expensive. The customers came with Teslas and Benzes. Influencers made videos in front of the giant golden logo. Celebrities came to Orebo's to be seen. Chef Orebo, the founder, had it all. Wealth, fame, power. His name was a brand. His face appeared in billboards across Lagos. And his restaurant, Chef Orebo Food Mall, was the definition of luxury dining. But behind that golden smile and designer clothes was a man losing faith in humanity. Everywhere he went, people praised him, not for who he was, but for what he had. Staff adore him like royalty. Women chased him for clout. Friends only called when they needed something. Orebo wanted to know, if I had nothing, will I still matter? Orebo became tired of life, tired of fake laughs, tired of insincere praise, tired of people kneeling for him just because of his fame and fortune, tired of staff who treated him like a god or disrespected poor customers, tired of girls who only smiled at him when he wore designer shoes. And one day he disappeared. He wanted out, not from the business, but from the illusions. So one evening, without telling anyone, not his manager, not his accountant, not even his loyal chef, Orebo dressed in rags, rubbed ashes on his face, tied a dirty scarf around his hair, and left his mansion. He made his way to the underside of the popular Ojuelegba Bridge. There he slept on bare concrete, ate leftover bread from a dumpster, watched other beggars fight over sachet water. He saw people cross the road to avoid them. He heard children scream, "Madman!" and adults mutter, "Lazy things." It broke him. This world is hard. Well, people don't even look you in the eyes unless you are rich. He whispered one night as he clutched his knees in the cold. But he wasn't done. After 4 days under the bridge, he decided to move closer to Chef Orebo Foodmore in disguise. He wanted to see how his own staff treated people they thought were beneath them. So he went further. He dressed like a full-blown lunatic, fun shirts, worn slippers, hair tangled like an abandoned sponge. He hung around the back of the restaurant, pretending to dig through trash, sometimes sitting at the corner drawing on the sand. People spat at him. The staff shouted, "Oga madman, carry yourself, go front of police station." No. Ladies called their nose when he passed. He saw it all. The pride, the harshness, the wickedness, and it hurt. Then came her, Adora. That morning the sun was unusually gentle. Birds chirped above the palm trees by the food mall. Orebo, still in disguise, sat in his usual spot, drawing crooked smiley faces on the ground. That was when she passed. A young woman, beautiful, dressed in a simple floral gown. Her skin glowed like oiled mahogany. She walked with grace, head held high. Yet there was no pride in her, just quiet elegance. Orebo's breath caught in his throat. For a moment he forgot who he was pretending to be. He stared, eyes soft, lips slightly parted. And she noticed. At first she smiled awkwardly, unsure whether to be flattered or afraid. Then she paused, took a few more steps and looked back. He was still looking at her in admiration. Why is this madman looking at me like that? She chuckled to herself. Then she did something no one ever did. She walked back. "Hello, dear,"
Hello.
she said, kneeling beside him gently. "Do you want to eat?" He nodded like a boy caught stealing sugar. "Yes, yes, yes." She smiled and offered him her hand. They walked together into the restaurant. Hair torn. Staff looked horrified. The woman gently asked him to sit while she went to order 2 plates of rice and chicken. But by the time she returned, he was gone. The beggar was gone, driven out. "Madman, we need to serve crazy people here," one of the staff said with a smirk. Furious, she stormed outside, only to see him sitting under a palm tree with his head down. "Here," she said, handing him the takeaway plate. "You shouldn't be treated like this. People forget the poor are human too." He looked up. She blinked. His voice was too clear, too deliberate, too thoughtful. "Can I know your name?" he asked softly. But she laughed. "My name? Never mind. Please, please," he pleaded. She stared at him again, then took a closer step. Then took a step closer. "You don't sound like a madman." "I am not," he said. She arched an eyebrow. "Then who are you?" He smiled and turned slowly, pointing at the golden sign above the building. My name is Chief Orebo. Her eyes widened. No way! No way! He slowly peeled off his wig, pulled away the scarf, wiped the dirt from his face. And there he was, the famous chef, the restaurant mogul. She gasped as he took her hand and gently pulled her back into the building. This time when they entered, the staff practically somersaulted in apology. Ogasa, Ogasa, Ogasa. Ogasa, Chief, we didn't recognize you, sir, I beg, sir. But he waved them off. They walked into his private office, a luxurious suite with mahogany furniture, champagne fridge, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Lekki skyline. He turned to her and said, "You are the first person who saw a human in me when I looked my worst." She blinked back tears. They talked for hours. He learned her name, Adora, that she was a fresh graduate who had been looking for a job for over a year, that she came to the restaurant to apply, but changed her mind when she saw how the receptionist treated other applicants. "People like me never stand a chance," she said, voice cracking. He stood and walked to his desk, picked up a golden pen. "Starting tomorrow, you are the new human relationship manager at Chef Orebo Food Mall." She gasped. You're joking." "No, I never joke with destiny." He smiled. And 6 months later, Adora transformed the customer experience at the restaurant. She introduced kindness training for all staff. She hosted community meals for the homeless once a month. Chef Orebo Food Mall became not just a fine dining space, but a heart-driven brand. And as for her and Orebo, they grew closer. He admired her soul, her strength, her sincerity. One evening on the balcony of his private suite, he knelt with a small box in his hand. "I have seen riches. I've seen rags. I've seen people treat me like God and like garbage. But only one person treated me like a human. You." Tears filled her eyes. "Will you marry me? Will you marry me?" "Yes, yes," she whispered. Social media went wild. Chef Orebo marries ex-job seeker who once fed him thinking he was mad. But to Orebo and Adora, it wasn't just a story. It was proof that genuine kindness still exists, and sometimes the person you feed on the streets may be the one feeding your soul forever. The moral of the story: treat everyone with respect. You never know who is behind the disguise. Show a little kindness always. Thank you, and please share our story.